My name is Sister Amanda, and this is Ask Sister. So I received a question about where Jesus was born, where he died, and where he lived. So I thought I would answer it by showing you guys a map. Okay, so you can see it. So this is the Holy Land in Jesus's time. So what the Holy Land would have looked like on the map. Now we have 3 main cities that we want to know their names. So we have way up here is Nazareth, and we have Jerusalem and Bethlehem. Now, most of you know the stories of Christmas, the Christmas carols, and if I had to ask you where Jesus was born, probably most of you would be able to say Bethlehem. That was where Jesus was born. However, when the angel appeared to Mary, Mary is Jesus' mother, Mary and Joseph, Jesus' parents, were living in Nazareth. So that's where they were from. And so when they lived in Nazareth, they were going to get married. The angel appeared to Mary and asked her to be the mother of the Messiah, to be the mother of God. And she said yes. So that was when they were living in Nazareth. And at that time, there was a census. Now, all of this land and most of the world at that time was ruled by the Romans. The Romans were the occupying power at that time. And they had ordered a census. And for the Jewish people to be counted, to be numbered, meant they had to go to their hometown. So, for that reason, Mary and Joseph, although they lived in Nazareth, Joseph's family was originally from Bethlehem, because Bethlehem was the city of David. And David was the great king of the Jewish people. And that was where David was from. And Joseph was a descendant of David. So they had to make the journey all the way down to Bethlehem. Would have taken a number of days. They didn't have cars, of course. It would have taken a long time. But this journey that they made down to Bethlehem, and it was at that time, it just happened to be the time that Jesus was born. And so he was born in Bethlehem in the city of the great king, the king of Israel. Their home was in Nazareth. So they went all the way back up to Nazareth, and that's where Jesus lived, where he grew up. And that's why after when he started to become famous, he was known as Jesus of Nazareth. So he was born in Bethlehem, but he grew up in Nazareth. Now, Jerusalem was the holy city. It still is the holy city for the Jewish people and even for Christians as well. So the Jewish people, so God's people, would go to Jerusalem often because that was where the temple was, the big church, the big place where they would go to pray, to worship God. So even though Jesus and his family lived up here in Nazareth, every year they would make this journey down to Jerusalem to worship in the temple, to pray to God and worship him in the holy city, in the holy temple. When he began his ministry, when Jesus began preaching and healing and declaring himself that he was the Messiah, he was here, he was God's son here on earth. He went to these different cities, and I'm not sure if you can see on the map, but there's different cities you might hear of in your Bible stories. There's Cana, Capernaum, Bethsaida, Magdala, Tiberias, and this blue here, that's the Sea of Galilee. And for us, it doesn't look like a sea, it's pretty small. And that was where a lot of miracles took place, where the apostles were fishing and Jesus walked on the water, he calmed the storm. All of that happened on the Sea of Galilee. All of the things that took place around Easter happened in Jerusalem. So Jesus was going there with his apostles and all of his disciples to Jerusalem for the festival, for the feast. He was there in the holy city to pray, to worship God, and that was when he was arrested and crucified and died and was buried in Jerusalem. But he's not there anymore, right? Because Jesus rose, and he rose from the dead, and that happened in Jerusalem as well. So I hope that helps you realize the place where Jesus was, that it was a real place, that Jesus isn't just another story, that he really lived in a real place, that he was born in Bethlehem, grew up in Nazareth, died and was buried and rose again in Jerusalem. These are real places that we can go and visit. And it's my dream to go and visit one day. I would love to see the land where Jesus lived. That was an awesome question. Thanks so much, and hope to see you next time. God bless you.